Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of TalkGA, our podcast on anything and everything Grand Archive. I'm your host, Mark from Solar Games, and joining me are my co-hosts, Eva and Fome.
HVN.
HVN. We are here now, yes. For today's show, we're going to be actually doing a quick spoiler for our HVN preview, so it's very exciting, followed by some short announcements from us, and then we're going to dive into cornering the market as usual, and then a big, large section devoted to talking about all the goodness that we've already seen around HVN. Yeah, and then we have a little longer viewer question that I think will be kind of interesting to talk about for this episode. So I'm looking forward to this episode already. You guys ready?
Lots of goodies.
Spoiler time. Let's do it.
Spoiler time. Okay. I think first up, Fome, you're the spoiler.
I'm first. I'm in the hot seat. Let's go. All right. So for our first exclusive spoiler, first, I guess it's a little bit hinting at what's coming up next. It has to do with Guojia and her pet dragon, Seiryu.
Seiryu.
Okay.
Or Seiryu if you want to be weeb about it. But this dragon is a 4/12 taunt spell shroud with a bunch of attack triggers.
Yeah.
But when would the taunt ever be active if you're attacking with it to get the attack triggers? Right? It's kind of a conflicting ability.
Yeah. If you're attacking, you can't be taunting.
Yeah, so how do we
You're
solve
taunting,
this?
you can't be attacking. That's right.
Another issue with Guojia.
Reading the card explains the card.
What do you do with all your extra quest counters?
You eat them.
Yeah.
Side quests.
You side quest? Okay. Or maybe if your dragon dies, you can eventually bring him back.
Yeah.
But besides that, you don't have very much use for all these quest counters, right?
That we know of so far.
So you're going to solve both of our problems.
We're going to solve both of these issues with a single card.
Okay.
Okay.
So the card is called Clash of Fates.
Clash of Fates.
It's a 2 reserve tamer skill.
Okay.
And it has a Guojia bonus that you don't have to pay the 2 reserve. You can just remove a quest counter instead.
Okay. Yeah, you can use it, right? Yeah, nice.
One quest counter.
What does it do? What does the card do?
Okay. Put a buff counter on a Fate Stone or a Fate-bound object.
Okay.
And if that object is a Shenju, it gets bigger until end of turn. It's also slow. Yeah. So now you can have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
You can attack them.
Yeah.
Get your Arcane Blast.
Yeah.
And then wake up and also defend you
And taunt.
with taunt and spell shroud.
Okay.
It's like the ultimate shield. It's your majestic spirit, but dragon.
Makes sense.
Is this Guojia fighting Lubu?
It is.
In the art?
It is.
It is.
Wow.
It is definitely
Guojia flying around, riding Seiryu and battling Lubu.
Fun.
Is that the enraged Lubu or is that the normal Lubu?
I think we're getting ahead of ourselves here.
Did somebody die?
All right. Whose car is next? Mark.
I'm next. Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Let's go.
Go back.
All right.
You guys ready for the best card of the set?
Really?
Oh, best
I'm just they're all great. Okay. My card, right? Look, check it out. So you know how like Lorraine's really good, right? Because Lorraine comes out, gives you a free sword.
Yeah.
Right?
Or any weapon.
True.
Could be a gun.
Could be a gun. Yeah.
Okay, what if I tell you there's an ally that can materialize something, okay, from your material deck,
Like
on enter?
like the supply drone.
Yeah. And it's Norm. Okay.
Okay.
So far, so good. Okay. And how about this? You also draw a card with this ally every 3 turns. So every 3 turns, if you have this ally out there and they haven't removed it, you draw a card.
This sounds actually kind of
Yeah.
Wait, why
okay.
is it so much?
Again, if the ally doesn't die, you gotta do a lot of work. But okay, all right. Bear with me. Okay.
What if it has like 1 health?
Yeah. What if? No, it has 3 health. We're good. Okay. Look,
Yeah.
my card is Joyu. Okay.
Joyu.
Yeah. Also, added bonus, super flavorful character. This
Joyu.
is the character that I was speculating to be Jin for a long time.
But
But this is now we know normal character, normal set.
totally wrong.
Totally wrong. Yes.
Oh wait, this is so sick.
But do you remember? Yeah. So this card's really cool.
pretty.
Okay. Joyu, stop reading the card. Joyu Enlightened Sage. Okay. 3 costs, unique ally, mage human, class bonus. On enter, materialize a book or scripture card from your material deck. You still pay the cost, but you get to materialize one, right?
Okay.
Class bonus secondary ability at the beginning of your recollection phase. If you control a book or a scripture object, put an enlightenment counter on your champion.
Yo.
This thing has 1/3 attack stats. So 1 attack, 3 defense.
Dang.
Rise comeback?
Rise
maybe?
support?
Rise
Rise
allies?
support. Yeah, rise support. You bring this out, obviously you get a tome for free. So you just save a turn
Yep,
of materializing the actual tome, right? Easy stuff. But you can also, if you're a Koming enjoyer, you might want to get maybe a Tome of Sorcery. So you can get your Empower stuff done. So you have 2 tomes you can bring out, right? Here's some other stuff that people probably didn't even think about, but you start looking at like subtyped scripture. Tithe Proclamation is a scripture.
Oh, that's
Okay. All right. Now we're talking, right?
Okay.
So you're Merlin, okay, because you're mage. You bring out Tithe Proclamation. You send it back with Pendragon. You're drawing a lot of cards, right?
True.
And then for all the games that, you know, there's a lot of these games now, like, you know, where you may have a lot of cards in memory. You bring out the Worn Diary. So this is a regalia that's cost 0, right? And
yes, the Worn Diary.
I'm really pushing right now. Okay, I'll be honest. I'm really pushing. But this card says tap, put a page counter on Worn Diary for each card in your memory. If you have, and then the second ability is tap, banish. Why are you guys nodding? Were you playing with this card?
Great card. No,
it's awesome,
keep
right?
going.
Tap,
you're so selling this.
Banish Worn Diary, right? Draw a card. If you have, but you can only activate this if you have 10,
draw
10
a
page
card.
counters.
This card looks amazing.
I like this card.
Yeah,
It's cool.
I think it's really cool. And added bonus, this card has a CSR version. Now I realize it's cool.
Yes,
Oh, we get to see the
Yeah.
CSR.
CSR version. So
Okay,
We
let's take a look at this.
We were just sent the photo of the CSR
Yeah.
like minutes before filming.
Oh wow.
Ooh, he's so pretty.
I gotta like dodge all the lights
That's a really
of our
pretty
studio to see it.
Yeah,
Whoa!
that signature looks really
Nice.
pretty.
Nice. I like it. Yeah. And here's the thing, right? This card only gets better as we get more books and scriptures. You know how I love these like uncapped cards, right? That could get better with more whatever bullshit scripture that can come out. Real quick, just added lore bonus about this card. We actually have seen this character before. This character was on Lost Wisdom. There was some video, I forgot, it was either on my channel or on here we were talking about it. I said, if Jin is not this character, if Joyu is not Jin, basically, right? Then the card on Lost Wisdom is probably Joyu. I
thought it was some
commented
girl.
this. No, well,
Have you seen this?
I always thought it was
not a girl. Not a girl.
I always thought it
Look
was.
at the chest. Look at the
guess he
chest.
has
Come on.
ribbons,
Look at the
but-
chest. Look at the chest. Okay. And then the second part is also because he's like wearing red, right? So I was like, oh, it's like red. He likes books. It's gotta be Joyu. I love Sungwoo. It's so good.
Is he like a writer, author?
Oh, he is the arch nemesis of Koming.
Oh.
Like they're like basically rivals.
Okay.
This is the character that, by the way, in the real story of Sungwoo, died because he was so angry.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's why you thought he was Jin.
He's like
You
spitting
thought it was
blood because
Jin.
Koming's always like one step ahead of him, and he's really smart. All right, I'm done. Eva, you're next.
All right, get
All
excited.
right.
Hot seat.
Best for last.
Well, buckle in because I made y'all a slideshow.
Yeah.
And my
Oh,
card
boy.
is so hyped that I have to show it to you
Okay.
segment by segment.
Oh my God.
Okay, get ready
Yeah.
if you're not already
I'm ready.
Oh my god.
I'm ready. It's like a puzzle.
Okay.
It's like a puzzle.
Okay, so I'm so glad that you just presented your card right before mine because guess what type my card is? Joyu's gonna love it.
Is it a book?
It's
a
a
book.
scripture that Cao Cao is reading.
Okay.
So
Okay.
have a guess mark. What kind of scripture or book would Cao Cao, who is like a military leader, be reading?
It's like a stratagem. It's got to be like about like combat. Like you gotta. It's like Art of War. Is it Art of War?
A plus, A plus.
Lore video. Let's go.
You guys are so good. Okay, guess
Yeah.
the next part. Just kidding.
Oh my god. It's UR, by the way. So this card's good. Is it Norm?
Okay.
Oh, it's Norm.
Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot to cover that part. It is a norm,
Okay.
zero cost regalia item, mage scripture called Art of War.
Art of War. Okay.
All right, the next part is gonna blow
Combat.
your minds.
It's got to be combat.
Oh, we found the divine relic.
I was really not expecting to receive the divine relic, but
Okay.
thank you for letting us spoil the divine relic because this is
Yes.
hype as
Yes.
hell.
So we got to do our tier list on this, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I
Divine
already,
relic
I already
already.
know it's
Oh,
a
God.
0 out of 5.
Okay. Okay.
You don't even know anything. And that's the whole card. There's no other text.
Oh,
0
okay.
out of 5.
Yeah.
So if we're talking divine relics, right? The standard for the divine relic, Grand Crusader's ring. Draw a card,
It's the
right?
best.
That's what all the divine
Disagree,
relics
but
are
okay.
compared to,
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
right? So of course this card
Draws
has,
half the card.
while paying for a memory cost, you may banish Art of War to pay for one of that cost.
Oh,
So-
just draw a card.
A little bit like in
Okay.
between a Grand Crusader's Ring and a Temporal Spectrometer.
Okay, if it were just that, it would be kind of like worse than both of them, but there's more to it.
Okay. Players can't declare attacks with allies that entered the field this turn.
This is some bullshit right now.
Lunette on a Divine Relic.
Welcome to Summoning Sickness in GA.
Welcome to Summoning Sickness.
And it's crazy too, because this is not on enter, players can't declare attacks. It's as long as this is on the field, any allies that enter the field can't attack that turn.
This is incredible.
It is
Summoning
Lunette.
Sickness. It's
For
actually
attacking.
It's slightly different. Lunette says they come in rested.
Yeah.
So but it's good because it is Summoning Sickness.
Holy
It just changes the rule of the game. Yeah.
It's so good.
And you can still use it to pay for things later too. So it's never irrelevant.
Yeah.
Even if they don't have any allies, you could use it like a GCR.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm so curious how everyone's gonna rank this because I feel like this does kind of shake things up.
Yep.
It's pretty
6 out of 5 stars. In certain cases, it's just better than GCR.
You guys are saying like GCR's top dog. I'm telling you, Quicksilver Grail.
Quicksilver Grail is good too.
Quicksilver Grail's top
good
dog. All right. This card. All right, here's some issues, okay? Number one. I gotta tear. You guys are so hyped about it. I gotta tear it apart. Okay.
Sure.
First thing, right? This just has the same spectrometer problem, which is it's only when you're paying for memory costs can use the second part. Meaning, if I destroy it before we get to a phase that matters, then you lose the second part. So you essentially is a GCR that you may not draw a card on.
More vulnerable for sure.
It's a little bit vulnerable, yeah. And this is not opponents can't declare attacks. Players. Your allies that enter also cannot declare.
That is very true.
So it's a little bit tricky. This is a very mage-centric thing, right? So you mage and you're like, my allies don't attack. Or I don't have allies, whatever that may be.
Yeah.
So they're going to want to kill this thing, probably.
Yeah, Merlin would love this. Yeah. Because it makes leveling up to Merlin 2 easier, and it also staves off early aggression, which Merlin historically has a hard time with.
Yeah.
That is a really good point, though, that ally-focused decks won't be playing this card.
It is still a very powerful effect. It makes opponents have to deal with it, which, again, having to deal with it is not free. So they have to spend a card. They have to spend some amount of resources to deal with this. So, yeah, it's interesting. It's definitely interesting. Yeah.
This is kind of why I was giggling when you brought up Worn Diary. I was like, oh no, Mark's run out of books and scriptures.
I'm digging, dude.
Here's one for you.
Nice. It's good. It's great. Yeah. I think like honestly, for the archetype that's playing into mage, I would probably like my ranking for this is like, I think 3. 3 is good. 3 out of 5.
Yeah.
For the archetype of mage, right? By the way, great artwork too.
I love this artwork. I think it's beautiful. I love how I don't know if you guys can see or notice, but it's not just simply that Cao Cao is like reading the scripture.
Yeah.
She's pulling the characters off of the script with her magic.
What?
You see those characters are coming off the page, right, and
they're
glowing.
Kind of like lifting off.
Yeah.
So I think it's really beautiful.
Wow.
Such a cool card.
Great spoilers, by the way. Man, we got some good ones.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you for the spoilers.
Thank you,
Thank you for the spoilers.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Awesome opportunity to get to reveal these cards to the world for the very first time. Yeah. Coming out in Abyssal Heaven, March
8th.
You're the salesman. Oh my god.
It'll come out when it comes out, guys. But keep it locked on solargames.com and we get all your cards and gadgets and gear.
On March.
I don't want to
someday.
Have the website. In March,
coming out first week in March.
And we're back.
Quick announcements for this episode. Last episode we had a holiday giveaway. We're here ready to announce the winner. Drumroll, please.
Yeah, sorry for the delay.
Ooh, holidays in February.
That's right. And the winner is Taitao 5412 from YouTube.
Ooh, congratulations.
Congratulations.
You rock.
You will be getting this box of Mortal Ambition shipped to you. I will reply to you over comments on YouTube around instructions on how to redeem your price.
Ooh.
Cool.
Yep.
Thank
and
you.
Mark will personally deliver the box to you.
Sounds
to
like
your
that
doorstep.
might happen. Yeah, that might
knock on your door.
We'll figure it out. We'll work it out. Okay. But real quick, I do want to give a thank you for everyone who did enter in the giveaway. Thank you guys so much for your comments and a lot of really heartwarming messages. Actually,
so many lovely comments. I really wasn't expecting it, especially because we were like, oh yeah, just comment anything to enter, and then everyone left like such
heartfelt
lovely
comments, interesting comments. Yeah.
So thank you so much.
Yep.
We really
you
appreciate
guys are
it.
the best.
All right. Are you guys ready for cornering the market?
Are we ever?
Cha-ching.
Okay. All right. So let's talk meta first, and then we'll talk about a little bit of stuff that we talked about last episode. We'll kind of close the loop on some stuff. Meta defining stuff, right? I think I missed this one, but how much do you think Primordial Ritual is? It's a rare from MRC.
Okay.
This random card, it's probably like
It's not that good, right?
75 cents.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say like $2.
Card is $6 now.
Ooh.
I actually didn't know this. I kind of missed it. Yeah. It used to be 75 cents. So you're right. It was like less than $1.
Oh.
Who plays this?
Yeah. Maybe all the water decks.
Yeah.
What?
I am seeing it. I am seeing it actually.
Yeah. It's everywhere in the water deck. Again, just more cards. It's like if you're gonna remove my Frostborn. Oh, you're serious?
No, I know it's because of the Tidestone Bovine, because it itself is floating.
Yep.
Yes. It's strictly a worse version of Cremation Ritual, but now it's actually pretty good for the water meta. Yeah. It fills your water graveyard. It does a bunch of stuff. So water meta defining, of course, the general meta. Of course, all the water cards are rising up. And this is one I found. I was like, oh, very surprising. Even this card is up a lot, right? 500% in the last 2 weeks, in fact. Okay, so moving from there into our next section called the Rising Stars. These are cards where I think, or that we're seeing some price upticks because of new cards revealed. So of course it is, to no surprise that the two cards are from a Terra card and of course a Lexum card.
A Terra?
Terra, yeah. So UD, Gossamer Jade, is up a lot.
Good card.
It's a lot. Remember the card when we first talked about it? I was like, it's kind of interesting, but I'll just put it this way. A lot of these SR cards from A and B were pretty much depressed down to around like the $5 range because that's what you put a bulk SR at, right? This card is now $15.
Wow.
And my expectation is probably it's going to go up even a little higher than that. I think around the $19-20 range where like Polar Depth and, like Stratagem is around probably right. If the Dialchan deck works out. This is where it kind of... There's a lot of ifs going on here, but everyone's kind of speculating, right?
So you think this is a spec?
Yeah.
During the dev stream, Silidar literally pointed out UD, this card,
Yeah.
and said that there was a card that would not interact, but like make this card better.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is weebs pump the market.
That's right. Weebs themselves pump it.
Insider trading.
Insider trading.
Yeah.
So I think it feeds into the whole Dialchan delay tactic. Again, I did not play with the recollection decks, but my understanding from watching the dev stream is Dialchan has like a really delay tactic, like they want to go for a long game. This card plays more into the stall tactic, right?
Yeah.
Like if I empower, I make your stuff a little harder to attack with. You can't attack me. I get more turns. I kill you with flowers, something like that, right? So I think that's why this card is actually going up.
God, I hate this card.
You're already right.
I played against it once and it just killed me so bad.
The other card is, of course, we talked about this last episode, and my prediction is true. Excalibur, Cleansing Light, is now a $15 card.
It's Mark's pump this time.
Yes.
Congrats.
Congrats. Yes, I got it right. Okay. That's a 1,400% increase since we released the video, right? Yeah. Anyways, look. Probably my best prediction yet on cornering the market so far. We haven't really made a lot of predictions, but yes, as predicted, right? The Goja deck is revealed. Everyone's looking at it and saying, hey, like if I can run Luxem, this is like I remove any non-champion object. It's kind of just like you have to have this card, right? So, and it's from DOA, which at this point, like, all the cards are out there. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. I think there's still a lot of copies of the cards out there. So I'll probably just wait a little bit. I think the market's literally been bought up, which is why the push up. So we'll see what happens in the next couple of weeks. So now that I've made some good predictions, how about I make some new predictions?
Okay, what's your crazy spec?
All right, guys, look, unbound potentials. Okay, this section, okay? Number 1, Home by Fire. Now, okay, Home by Fire is like a common card. Okay, don't go buying like 5,000 copies of Home by Fire. Do buy the foils though. I'll say this, 2 reasons. Number 1, if this card sees meta again, somebody's gonna want 4 copies of it, right? Hey, look, the card is 75 cents. What are you losing? You lose like not even $4, okay? But if this goes up, there are not that many copies of this card on TCG Player in the foil version. So someone can corner this market very easily.
Really?
Yes.
It's FTC though. There was a ton of FTC.
I know, but
yeah,
but it's foil.
But what
and
are
if the
you
decks need
seeing
4
this?
of them.
What are you seeing in this card, Mark?
Oh, why, right?
Yeah.
This is a cheap warrior craft spell at fast speed. We saw how oppressive this card was during the FTC meta of the Fire Lorraines, right? And I predict that come HVN, we will have another revival of the Fire Lorraine meta. I think.
Song of Frost is a thing.
I know. Fully understand. But yes, I think there may be something. And look, I could be wrong, right? I just be positive and make predictions, see what happens.
Okay. All right, we'll see if this comes to fruition.
Check. Okay.
All right.
We'll see.
Right. Second card I'm gonna say is Sword Saint Everflame. This came from AMB. This card, like all other bulk SR, has been depressed to about $4.
I'm so sad. I think
it could actually
for $10.
It could actually go lower, I would say, from this point, right? But because I think Kindle being a new mechanic in HVN, it'll be really interesting, right? So Kindle has two parts, right? Kindle is obviously you're expending cards in the graveyard to get an effect. But that also means that we have to have enablers, which means there are going to be cards like Creative Shock that drop more cards into the graveyard, right? So it makes it easier to get this card from either hand or maybe even deck into graveyard.
I can see it, yeah.
Again, like if my prediction of a Fire Revival meta is correct, these fire cards are going to go up. That's why they're in potentials.
I hope.
Potentials. Again, this is not a financial recommendation. This is for pure entertainment only. We're not a financial channel. But yeah.
Yeah. Mad Mark.
Fun stuff. All right. All right. I think all the viewers probably really interested in our main topic for today, which is all about HVN.
Ooh, yeah.
Topics, spoilers, cards, the decks, everything, right? Design, dev notes.
Yep, the dev stream. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So on the dev stream,
yep.
I think they revealed some of the new mechanics of HVN.
Yeah.
So I think we kind of talked about the first one already. We didn't get into too much detail. So this one is Kindle N. So the way it works is on the card it'll say Kindle followed by a number, and that number is the maximum number of fire cards you're allowed to banish to help pay for the reserve cost of the card.
Banish from your graveyard.
Yes, banish from your graveyard.
Yes.
That's important to note. So some of these look quite good. So like for example, we have Dazzling Courtesan.
So pretty.
Yeah,
so pretty.
it's really gorgeous actually.
Yeah.
Which costs 3, but also has Kindle 3. And a 2/2 mage human ally. So that means if you have 3 fire in your grave, you can banish those 3 and play this for free.
Yep.
Which is 3 fire in your grave.
Yep.
I've never seen that before from a fire player.
That's right.
So
what am I going to use the fire cards anyways?
Yeah. So if you talk about tempo,
Yeah.
talk about like machine gunning your entire hand onto the board at lightning speed.
Yeah.
This is like exactly what fire's been looking for.
I like this flavor for fire, for sure.
It's a really great mechanic. I love it.
When this card dies, it also is more fuel for the fire. For the next card.
That's right.
Firewood.
They wipe your board. They're like, oh sweet, I got more stuff for Kindle.
Kindle, yeah.
Yeah. Another revealed new mechanic is actually a subtype. It's a subtype for domains.
Yeah.
And it's called Siegeable. Siegeable means that the domain can be attacked as if it were a unit. And if it takes damage, it would lose durability counters. So all the Siegeable domains enter with a certain number of durability counters.
Okay.
Basically how much life they have.
Yeah.
So I guess the idea here is you can balance a really good domain by making it so that it's also vulnerable to removal from being attacked.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it because, domains have had a couple of I think devs are trying to make people like domains because aside from the Tenoris deck, we really haven't seen any domain play, right?
Nope.
But domains, because they have such a big downside. In DOA was you have to do a bunch of memory checks.
Yeah.
And I guess ALC domains, some of them you just got them, but they were weaker or something, right? Or harder to play. And then of course in AMB, we got more domains that were checking conditions of things, not necessarily memory, but allies on board or attacking or removing counters.
I don't think I've seen a single domain from AMB ever played.
Right.
Not even in draft.
Have you seen any domain being played other than Tenoris domains?
Gloamspire is the one that you kind of see the most, I would say.
I forgot that's a domain.
Yeah, you don't even know don't remember it's a domain.
It's true. Because those are the ones that have no downsides. You should play it and then, I guess it checks for how many cards you have and discard.
Yeah, it's because its downside is not really so much of a downside.
It's not, yeah.
So are these new domains so powerful that they're worth their downside of being able to be attacked?
Yeah, so there is one domain, Eva, if you don't mind pulling this one up while we talk about it. Jiangyue, I think, is the
from
red.
AMB or
from HVN, yeah.
Jiangyue is all your allies have on death if your influence is 6 or less, draw a card.
Yes. So you have low influence because you're shotgunning your allies down, right? You kindle them for free. They die, you draw a card.
And Jiangyue also has Kindle.
Yeah.
It's
Kindle 6.
Yeah.
So this card works really well, I think, into that like shotgunning your hand type of situation. Rococo, like, come on, like, okay, you're gonna kill my Rococo, cool, I'll draw a card on it. Rococo is suddenly better because I can draw another Rococo. Remember, it's draw. It's not even drawn in memory. You kill it. Let's say you do some interaction, you kill it. I draw into my hand. I play another Rococo.
That's pretty cool.
I Rococo. I hit you. I play second Rococo, killing my first draw card.
Right.
This
is a great unique ally deck.
It's crazy. It's like a lot of weird things that you could do with this card now. Yeah, it's attackable, but I think there are some powerful domains that people have to get really creative about how to. Well, maybe not this one, but some of them you got to get creative about using them. Yeah.
Aggro has some cool tools.
Yeah, I think Fire Aggro is kind of back. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty neat because it also kind of incentivizes your opponent to attack your domain when they probably don't really want to do that because you're aggroing them.
Yeah, you're gonna leave my Arthur up or you're gonna leave my domain up.
Yeah, or you're gonna like, is your paladin gonna just swing at my Janya or is it gonna stay up to defend yourself?
Yeah.
That's annoying. It has 7 health, 7 durability.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, if I recall correctly, it had the highest health as well. Yeah, so it's a little bit.
Wow.
It's a little bit good. It's a little bit good.
That's pretty sick.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. The other domain I really like from domain side is Xuchang. Side note, by the way, Xuchang is also where my grandma lives.
Oh,
it's a real city, by the way. So you can just
it's a real place.
You could go visit the place.
Interesting.
Can we Photoshop your grandmother into the
into
Xuchang art?
Yeah, it's awesome. But anyways, yeah, this place, Xuchang, I think is also a very good siegeable domain. Now, the only downside is I think it's like really low durability, right? 4 health on this thing is pretty low.
Yeah, what does it do?
The card is a 3-cost unique domain. At the beginning of each opponent's recollection phase, that player may banish a card with floating memory from their graveyard. If they don't, the next card they activate this turn costs 2 more to activate.
That's annoying.
Yeah. It's a very good anti-aggro card, I think.
Aggro, yeah. Anybody, I mean, it punishes. So if you're water, it just gets rid of your floating memory, which could be annoying because it kind of slows you down. But I think more powerfully, it really hits decks that don't have or have very little floating memory, where like if they banish the floating memory, they now slow themselves down. But if they don't banish it, now they slow themselves down. Like yeah.
I think it's not very good against water because a lot of times they just want to play on their opponent's turn anyway, so they don't get impacted by the tax at all.
So they don't banish the floating. They go to their they play on your turn.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just gonna cerulean you on your turn anyway. But it is really good against like any allies deck because like how am I gonna put a board state on if everything costs 2 more? The first card.
It's a blinding orb, but still, it's it's pretty good. I also think it's also kind of interesting that siegeable forces allies from your opponent. So let's say you're facing Rai. Rai can't actually do anything about siegeable domains because it's attacks, not mage spells. You can't like spark a light a Xuchang or whatever.
So siegeable domains are probably really good against non-ally decks.
Yeah, non-ally decks. The other part, and I don't know, like maybe this is intentional or not, but I don't think anything can protect siegeable domains right now. As an example, right? So taunt says, you have to target the taunt before you target other units.
That's gonna get an errata, I guarantee you.
You think so?
I'm so sure
it's not written that way right now, right?
Yeah.
Here's another one. Can you resolute stand your siegeable domain? You can't because it targets units. It's not a unit.
Oh my god. Are they gonna errata all this stuff?
Everything that says unit, you have to, right?
Anyway, those are the 2 highlighted new mechanics that they showed on the dev stream.
Yeah.
But then we got a huge spoiler in basically showing like more than 30 cards from the recollection decks.
Soldar says like 50 or something. He's like this is probably the biggest spoiler dev stream you've ever gotten.
Yeah, it's insane.
It was a lot. Yeah.
Actually, full disclosure. We actually got some time.
Oh yes, for those who are very Hawkeye.
Yes, testing
eagle-eyed.
Both the Diao-chan and the Guojia recollection decks. Having a lot of fun playing them because Eva is busy making her video for Diao-chan, right?
Yes, I am working on that.
Other full disclosure, when he says we, it's like a semi-royal we. Okay. I am not part of this we. Okay.
Yeah, Mark doesn't know crap.
I don't know what's going on. I know what you guys know. So, which is why this section is going to be interesting because I'll be asking a lot of like generic questions about the decks, and these guys actually provide some really interesting details for all of us.
I mean, I don't know how insightful we can be because we literally got this like yesterday, and then we play tested it a little bit. We don't
So
we haven't really figured it out.
You're like one of like
totally
you're less than 100 people in the world who play this. So you're pros. Top 100.
I'm an expert in Diao-chan now.
Expert Diao-chan player. That's right. Tell us.
Expert at losing.
All right,
this is actually true.
Fome. Okay. All right, Eva, do you want to start off on Diao-chan? What does Diao-chan do?
Sure. So Diao-chan is the enchantress, and her kit really cares about fantasias and fractals. Basically, her gameplay is like she gives you cursed flowers, like flowers that hurt you. Either hurt you or benefit herself.
Okay, so these are like Trojan flowers. They're like
she gives you the
flowers I don't want.
Anime death flowers.
Yeah, exactly.
And do they bloom on me?
Yes.
Pretty much. Actually,
hurt
yeah.
me or something?
Pretty much, yeah.
Demon Slayer flowers. Yeah.
Yes. All right.
I didn't watch. But anyway, her play style is really control heavy. Yeah. So a lot of reactions and unfortunately for the current meta, negates.
Yep. Enjoy, guys. Having all your stuff negated more.
It's more negates, huh? Okay.
Yeah. All right. But like, so a few new mechanics and counters and tokens that are introduced with this deck. Glimmer is a totally new thing. This is a counter that Diao-chan gets. Like, for example, her level 1 gives her 2 Glimmer counters. And you can spend those counters to pay for playing cards straight from your memory. Like face down cards from your memory. You just activate them. But of course, only for spell reaction cards.
Okay.
Like negates.
Like negates. Oh boy.
My trap card.
Oh, spell reaction. It's not just any reaction. Spell reaction.
Specifically spell reaction cards.
It's like really okay. Cool. Okay.
Yeah, but then they printed a bunch of those.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I guess only like Tristan had some sort of ability like this, right? Because you can, for example, play Stifling Trap from memory with like counters.
With
Similar.
Yeah,
feels a little bit similar. Okay, cool.
Wait, can't you play Collapsing Trap from memory?
You can play a couple. Yeah, there are a couple cards that you can play from memory.
The trap cycle.
Yeah, the trap cycle.
And then another thing is Wither counters.
Wither.
Yeah, it's like property tax.
It looked pretty powerful. I gotta say, it looked like it was a lot. Like I mean, you could lose a whole turn if you want to play the Wither.
Potentially.
Yeah.
So you put Wither counters on your opponent's objects.
I don't like that. I don't like that.
And then at the beginning of their main phase, they have to put down cards into their memory or pay reserve cost of that amount of Wither counters in order to keep those objects.
Yeah, but it's a one-time thing, right? So they pay it and the Wither counters go away.
That's true, yes. You pay it and then you remove the Wither counter.
But Mark, do you pay the 1? Do you pay the 1? Do you pay the 1?
I guess you have to. you always have to, right? You do, right?
I will say it's I also thought it would be so brutally annoying, but it's actually not so bad.
I think we thought that it would be something that would persist throughout the entire game and like
really drag you down.
Yeah, exactly. But it's more like something from our very limited testing so far over one night. We think that this mechanic is mostly relevant for like a few key turns where you just pound them with Wither counters and you overwhelm them with Wither counters so much that they can't keep all their things.
Yeah, or you use it with a key card that combos with it. Season's End.
Yes.
Season's End is just a way to blow up everything that has Wither counters on it. So this is a card, it costs 10, it's a cleric spell, but it has a cost reduction. It costs 1 less for every Wither counter you have on objects.
Terror too, right? So it's advanced element.
Okay. It's a terror card. Yeah. And it just straight out destroys every object with a Wither counter. Probably the best board wipe in the game currently. And it kills everything. It kills allies, domains, items, fractals, everything. You name it.
Non-champion object,
Yeah. Okay. And so the combo is basically you get to Diao-chan level 3. Her on enter is put a Wither counter on everything. And then immediately you crack the Seasons and you wipe the board.
You have to play this that turn.
Yep. That's the Wombo combo. Yeah, but the question is if they don't have a lot of stuff, how does Diao-chan win the game?
Or if you don't find this card for the turn that you go level 3.
Yeah, so you need 4 copies of Season's End. Absolutely.
So I guess the other thing we haven't covered yet is the Flower Bud tokens. When you're level 3 Diao-chan, whenever your opponent's non-token objects are destroyed,
and you banish those objects. Kind of important, sorry, I forgot to say this on set, so adding this in belatedly.
You give them a Flower Bud token. And that token doesn't actually do anything. It literally doesn't have any ability on it, no stats.
Wow, that sounds terrible.
But with certain cards, you can trade that Flower Bud in for a cursed flower.
For more flowers.
Yeah.
Oh, the bud blooms.
Yeah, it blooms into
that's why
the flower
it's
of
called
death.
bloom. Ah, okay.
So you're telling me I have to spend additional cards to make the flowers actually do something?
That's true.
Correct.
It's a little slow from what we've kind of experienced so far, but we'll see.
It's a lot of hoops to jump through.
Kind of is. Yeah. I want to clarify as well. I keep using the term cursed flowers, but curses exist in this game and they're technically not of the curse type. It's just like kind of a similar concept.
They're just rotten flowers.
I'm actually really excited for all the artist flower tokens we're gonna have for these.
Ooh.
I think they're gonna be really nice. There's gonna be,
we're gonna have beautiful flower tokens.
and there's gonna be some Diao-chan players like, okay, I need like one unique of every flower, so they all look different. Like this is my my 16 Licorias.
Aww.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can give my opponent a bouquet.
You could literally flower range. You range your flowers on their field. Like put them in the right order.
Season's end. Here are your flowers.
We kept freaking joking about that yesterday. He was like, "Give you a flower." I'm like, "Oh, thanks."
Thanks. Wait a minute. Why does this deal 1 damage to me?
Hey.
Were there any cards out of the decks that stood out to you guys?
Yes.
As you were playing. Okay. Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Fome,
what was the card? You don't seem excited at all.
He's foaming at the mouth.
I didn't
Tell
mean
us.
to butt in.
So angry. Are you angry or excited?
I'm not. I think I'm interested in.
Okay.
Because acquiescing rejection.
Yeah, that card's good.
Is
good.
insane.
Yeah.
It's a 4-cost cleric spell reaction in water, like any good old negate should be. But it has class bonus, so if you're a cleric, it costs 1 less to activate.
So pretentious.
Okay. Negate target card activation you don't control.
Yeah.
Okay. So no paying for anything, just negate it, unless its controller lets you draw 2 cards. And then if you negate it, it banishes the card too.
Okay.
So it's like, on your first turn, if you have this, no matter what they play, you're gonna play this.
Okay. That seems pretty good.
It's I think its only weakness is like if they're playing a game-winning move, like they're gonna fireball you for lethal right now.
Ravish and Finale.
Yeah,
You're dead.
Yeah, like they're gonna be like, sure, draw 2 cards.
Draw 100 cards actually.
Yeah.
Why don't you draw more cards? I'll Ravishing even easier Ravishing Finale.
True.
Although maybe the card you draw could potentially help you get out of it.
Because it's draw to hand. Oh, Song of Frost. Ooh.
Yeah, or like you draw 1 plus a title lock, so you can pay for the title lock.
Oh, okay, I like it. Yeah. So there's actually more play. Right, it's not drawn to memory, it's drawn to hand.
Exactly, that's why it's so strong. It's not later card advantage, it's right now card advantage.
So we've talked about all the mechanics, right? Does it actually work? How does the deck actually play?
You need a lot of patience, is what we've learned in our,
water.
again, limited testing.
Yeah.
I think we struggled a lot with winning with the Diao-chan deck, but of course we will keep testing. We have some new ideas that we haven't tried out yet, and we'll see how that works. I will say, I think my first impression though of the recollection is that the out of the box power levels don't feel super balanced.
Okay.
We're getting better.
It takes a little bit to figure out how to use the deck, which is a little bit of a concern to me for a product that's supposed to be you just pick it up and play with it.
Go. Okay.
Yeah, I gotta say I lost every match with Diao-chan, but I also had a blast playing. It was some of the most fun I've ever played with a recollection deck.
It is fun. I think both of these decks are quite fun to play, even though one of them loses a lot so far in our experience.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a lot of brinksmanship that is required, which
Okay.
is like you just gotta be on the edge
Yeah.
and be okay with being close to dead but not dead.
So Jin.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Kinda.
Oh,
But less proactive.
that's relative. All right, we have another deck. Also,
Oh, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Guoja.
So Guoja deck's good, right?
This
Ooga
one was
booga.
so fun to play.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who wants to start first?
I can talk about this one. Guoja is the perfect deck for those who want to raise their own pet dragon.
Yes.
Yes.
For the Timmies out there.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
I think it's a little bit more straightforward to play than Diao-chan.
Okay.
But it's really fun.
Mm-hmm.
And it has like a couple really unique mechanics.
Yeah.
So I guess its main thing is that it has Fate Stone and Fate Bound objects. So this is GA's version of double-sided cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first double-sided GA cards.
I'm
First
very
ones?
excited. Yes.
So the idea here is that Guoja is making pacts with these Fate Stones, and then if you fulfill some condition, it allows you to transform the Fate Stone into a Fate-bound ally.
So they're like animal eggs.
They're like
They're
eggs.
eggs,
Stone
yes.
eggs. Yeah. They hatch.
Yep. So you're gonna be taking the cards out of the sleeves and flipping them over constantly all game long.
I did have like a small concern with that because especially there's so many people in the GA community where GA is their first trading card game. And so of course other trading card games have had this double-sided card mechanic and people are used to flipping the cards, but these newer players may not be as used to it, and I kind of experienced this as well, where between games I would forget to flip the cards back.
It happens other games.
Every person does this. Oh my god.
This happens in Magic all the time too.
Oh, okay. So many games I'm just like, oh shit, I forgot to. Can I fix this real quick?
Yeah,
and then it's so awkward. You have to like take it out in front of your opponent.
You also show the card essentially.
Yeah.
Let's say it's in your hand. You're like,
or you have to do it like under the table, and then that's kind of sus as well.
Yeah. So you got to be like, Judge, what does the other side of this card say?
Oh my gosh. This also brings up another problem. So in Magic or in other card games, any card games that you have double-faced cards, right? Sleeves have to be very, very, very like opaque.
Yep.
Right.
Because you can see the card.
Yeah.
So right now I mean, so when I play GA sometimes there's some sus like bright yellow sleeves that you can definitely see through.
Oh.
For viewers out there, if you're going to an official tournament with your GoJa double-faced card deck, make sure you use darker sleeves or you use the smoke inners. So that I think Dragon Shield, whoever. There's a bunch of makers. They make inner sleeves.
Dual mats are the perfect ones. Dragon Shield dual mats.
Dual mats, yeah. But they have ones basically that have a smoke inner. Basically, it's an inner sleeve, but one side's dark. That's one way you can use the lighter. Just double check it, by the way. But that's how you can sometimes use the lighter sleeves.
I was thinking that I'm really glad that the Recollection decks come with sleeves inside the package.
Oh yeah.
So
good foresight.
Yeah, but then when if they release Recollection Light of this version, just the cards
sleeves?
that don't come with sleeves, it's like, oh, new players who pick that up.
They're not allowed to play it out of the box.
They have to buy sleeves.
Yeah.
Just things we thought about.
Didn't even think about that. Yeah.
Gotta be careful.
But the mechanic is very fun.
Yes. I like it. Fade Stones. All right, what else?
Yep. Another thing is quest counters. And I guess you're like going on a quest. And so this pertains specifically to, I guess, the Shenju, which are like the mythical beasts. There are different ways to get quest counters, but the most common one is by banishing things from your memory. Seiryu is basically this, which is every time you banish something from your memory, you get a quest counter. And then for Seiryu's case, it's if you get 10 quest counters, then you can transform it into Seiryu, which is like a super powerful,
Blue Eyes White Dragon.
Blue Eyes White Dragon. Obliterate. With Arcane Blast.
Arcane Blast.
Literally.
Actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's so funny that Guoja, who's a Luxem champion, can play Arcane Blast, which is a totally other advanced element.
Yeah, it's kind of hilarious.
Very, very interesting, I think, like flavor that Grand Archive is adding to the game.
What about this deck? Any other cards? Any cards in this deck that stood out to you?
Ooh, the Pangolin.
Oh no.
Pangolin.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I think it starts out as Craggy Fatestone.
This card is so toxic. Yeah. How would you like a card that says you can't play your GCR?
Insult to injury. That artwork is a ring.
Oh yes, it's a ring that stops your opponent from playing rings.
My ring only.
Yeah. But the way this card works, it's a Fate Stone. It costs a lot. It costs 4.
Yeah.
But when your opponent materializes a card with memory cost 0, you put a buff counter on it.
Yeah.
Once you have 2 buff counters on it, you can transform it into Obstinate Cragback, which is a pangolin.
The Cragback.
But it has Spell Shroud, so it's really hard to deal with. And if you have two buff counters on it, its innate stats are 2/2, so with 2 buff counters, it's a 4/4. And once it's transformed, your opponents cannot materialize cards with memory cost 0. They just straight up can't get any of their baubles.
I'm so glad this card has Guoja bonus. Can you imagine if this card gets into any other deck?
True.
Dude, it would be so rude.
Very true.
This card is oppressive.
Yep, it's pretty hilarious.
Because, the other thing that's also a little bit like scary about this is the moment it flips is already a 4/4.
Yeah.
Spell Shroud.
It's a big stat line, yeah.
How do you deal with this? Spell Shroud. Wow,
Spell Shroud 4/4 is not easy to
You gotta
deal with.
attack into it. Wow.
Yeah. Fishing accident. Maybe.
Oh my gosh. Your Frostworm Paladin loses to this thing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, big pangolin.
Okay.
Big pangolin.
Okay. Cool. What else? What other cards?
Oh, backup charger is my favorite card.
Oh
in
yes,
this
I
set.
love backup charger for Guojia.
Yeah.
Does this make backup charger unnecessary, or do we now have 2 backup chargers every deck?
It'll make backup charger cheaper, right?
Oh
That's
yeah.
also
Right.
well,
right?
unless
Tell me. Well,
unless we need 2 backup chargers, then no, it won't.
Nah, you're gonna run out of room in your Regalia deck.
That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so all jokes aside, so they made a new card that's essentially a functional backup charger, Portentous Tangu, I guess.
Tangu.
And which is a 0 cost timber artifact, Guojia bonus on enter, put a quest counter on champion. That part is whatever. The more important part is you pay 3 banish and draw a card into your memory, which is why it's backup charger at home. But
That's right.
I kind of like the way this game is going in that it indicates they're probably going to print a bunch of versions of this effect, each one being specific to a particular archetype.
So
Yeah,
basically
maybe.
it's like I can have backup charger,
Yeah.
or I can have my backup charger.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
right.
My
yeah.
questing one, my automaton one. Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
I can get my enlightenment counter backup charger. Okay,
I still argue I think the backup charger is slightly better because the object that you get from the backup charger can be fracturized. There's a lot of play.
Yeah.
Right. So
sure, but a lot of like
the decks that don't
non-water
care
decks.
about it,
Yeah, exactly. A lot of people don't even put the power cell on the field because they don't care about it.
yeah.
True.
And I can imagine like there's some math that people have put in that this allows you to get your dragon out 1 turn earlier, Xaxes or something like that.
Yeah.
So it might be quite important.
Yeah, I don't
for
know why you
Tampa.
say that the quest counter isn't important.
I think for Guojia,
Yeah,
I think for
I
Guojia,
was
like
joking.
if you were to tier list like which backup charger you would use, you definitely use this one first.
Yeah.
And then if you needed a second card, you do the backup charger.
if you're Guojia.
Yeah. But I think actually 2 backup chargers sounds like a big tempo loss because you're at some point you can't just keep paying 3, draw a card instead of leveling up or doing anything else.
Okay, my question though is, if you're an ally deck that plays the 3 baubles,
Yeah.
do you replace the baubles with this backup charger instead?
Oh, a little guaranteed.
That's
I think usually no.
The baubles being like the resonance baubles, the
Yeah.
fire resonance baubles, water,
Wind.
etc.
I think usually no, is because if you're an ally deck and you're trying to go for like speed, you're depleted, your hand's gone. You don't hold 3 to backup charger usually. Again, maybe.
And the baubles don't work on Spirit of Slime because it's norm, not fire, wind, or water.
It's true. All right, this is not about storms. It's not about slimes. Okay, that was last season. This is this season now. Okay, what do you think about Guojia's deck right now? I heard it's better than the other.
It's the new slime.
Is it really?
It's the new slime.
I mean, I don't know if we know yet if it's that powerful. Like
Yeah.
we've not tested it against constructed decks. We've only played the 2 recollections against each other.
But it's straightforward. It's powerful. I think it's a great way for beginners to jump into the game too.
It is a blast to play.
Yeah.
It's like,
Okay.
here's my egg. I hatched my egg. Here's my dragon. Arcane Blast.
Oh yeah, I think it's actually kind of cool because very early on you get the dragon egg going, right? And then you're like
You just like nurture it.
you're nurturing.
for
Yeah,
a few
exactly.
turns.
Oh, I like it. It's kind of cool. There were a lot more cards also spoiled on the stream. Are there any other cards? Any other cards that were of interest to you?
I'm
at all?
crying.
You're crying. I know.
Foam's
Me-
been
me
talking
too.
about this
Me too.
non-stop.
I'm a little sad about this. Too.
My disappointment is
Foamy,
immeasurable, and
Foamy,
my
take
day
us
is
in.
ruined.
Take us in. Take it. We gotta talk about it. We just let it out, brother. Let it out.
What did they do to Lubu?
No.
Why is it Terra?
I'm also very, very, very sad about it.
Oh, it's like we were so excited for a fire Lubu because
you-
it was
Just imagine if it was fire, you flip it, Exia.
Oh,
Ooh.
Boy,
that would
we're
be
so
amazing.
back, boys.
Dude, like oppressive presence, fire card. Heated vengeance, fire card. Lubu, Terra.
Red hair.
Yeah.
Probably. Okay. Well, now
yeah.
maybe it's a terror horse. I don't know.
Yeah.
man.
What if red hair is a
Red hair.
water
horse? We don't know.
Yeah.
Luxem horse. I don't know anymore. I'm just not gonna
I
guess.
don't know. That's some subverting expectations, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Lubu.
Yep.
I just want to say, I only was able to catch part of the live stream,
Okay.
and I was like, I might as well just wait for the TalkGA guys to just tell me what the other cards do.
The
So
boys are
I
mad.
don't-
The boys are mad.
I've seen you guys mad and complaining, but I have not actually read the text on Lubu yet.
Oh, you
Okay.
can love
so
it.
I am so excited to see why everyone's
Let's read
fuming.
it for Eva.
Yes.
I'll read the front side. You read the back
Go
side. Okay.
ahead.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
so now you know it's a double-sided card.
Double-sided card.
Ooh.
Oh, ooh, so great. All right. All right, 4 cost Lubu.
Okay.
Indomitable Titan. Great name, by the way. Terra. Not so great element.
That part I've heard.
Artwork, amazing. Unique ally, warrior human. Okay, good type lines. I like it. Taunt vigor.
Okay.
On attack, if this is Lubu's first attack this turn, you may pay 2. If you do, wake up Lubu. So you play this card, you attack, you pay 2, you wake it up, attack again.
Okay, and it wakes up another time because it has vigor.
That's true. Yeah. So at the end of the step, you still wake up. You can taunt with it. It has a Diao Chan bonus. Crazy, right?
Oh, okay.
If your champion would die with exactly 32 damage counters on them, banish them, transform Lubu, destroy all other objects you control instead.
What?
Blow up your own board.
So you banish all the damage counter. Yeah. So
32?
So it's okay.
What's
a good example of this? Okay, so like Diao Chan's at, let's say, 24. So Diao Chan is a 25 health champion. Diao Chan's at 24, right? Something happens where Diao Chan would take 11 damage. Arcane Blast. Oh, sorry. Wait, no.
8 damage.
8 damage.
Oh.
Okay, 8 damage.
8 damage.
Whatever. You do 8. Somehow you figure
devastating blow with a sword of seeking.
Icebound. She gets Icebound.
She gets Icebound Slam.
Okay,
Yeah,
Icebound
right.
Slam comes in,
She
okay?
gets Icebound.
Because this person's not thinking at all about what possibly we could have here, right? Sorry. I think also Lubu has to be on the field. So you play Lubu, it's like super obvious telegraph. You Icebound Diao Chan for no reason. Diao Chan says, okay, I don't die. I remove all the damage counters. Every object that the Diao Chan player has gets removed from the game. Destroyed. And then you turn Lubu over. Fome, what does the other side of Lubu say?
Okay.
But you banish your champion, transform Lubu.
Yeah, Lubu.
And you lose all your other shit.
Becomes your new champion.
Yes.
Okay.
So Lubu is your first level 4 champion.
Level 4 champion.
Wow.
Element.
Yeah. Lubu, Wrath Incarnate, Exia.
Exia.
I mean, this card looks so badass. The art is incredible.
Wow.
Like, it's like she's
this is the Lubu that was in the art we saw earlier.
That's right. Look at the red eyes. He's freaking Shinigami.
The packs.
Yeah. Okay. But so she's now your champion.
Champion warrior human.
Okay. Champion warrior human vigor. Other champions get -3 level, and all allies get -3.
Period.
So basically, like, if they have a bunch of weak dudes, they're just dead.
No one is equal to Lubu. No one.
Wait, what do you mean dead? It's -3.
Sorry, you just mean they're 0. They have the 0 power. They're like their weakest.
They
just can attack.
They're gonna die. Okay, and on ally kill, deal X unpreventable damage to each other champion, where X is the killed ally's power stat plus its life stat.
And this thing has 32 life and 8 attack.
Your opponent has a Frostborn blocking your way. You kill the Frostborn, and they
take 4 damage.
I guess in this case they would take 4 damage because it's
already minus. Yeah.
Yeah. So pretty neat. Okay, wait. Step back. Okay, that situation where you described, where you can Icebound Slam Diao Chan and causing Lubu to flip over would never happen because Lubu has Taunt and Vigor. It's so hard to make this happen.
So you kill yourself. You have to kill yourself.
Surely there's some spell where you do damage to yourself.
It was 100% you have to kill yourself anyways. Let's say like they, for whatever stupid reason, they smoke bomb your Lubu so they can Icebound your Diao Chan so they can see the thing flip and see what it does.
Yeah. So I think you're onto something. You probably have to do it yourself.
You have to do it yourself.
I'll do it myself.
So I think this is the thing. So like it looks really bad right now, guys, boys. I know. We're here with you. Okay, we know. Okay, but I swear to God, Silazar is not this mean. Okay, I swear there's like a card in the main set that we haven't seen yet that does some bullshit weird thing where it's like deal X damage to yourself. Choose the numbers between 1 and 13 or something crazy. Like that, okay, like I guarantee it's gonna be Terra. Diao Chan bonus. I'm telling you, like something like pierce the heart or something. Like she like sacrificed herself so Lubu gets super mad, goes Exia mode. I'm just saying, like it looks really bad right now, but I'm telling you, the cavalry's coming. I'm really hoping. I'm coping so hard right now.
Maybe there's gonna be some way. Maybe it's like if red hair dies, transform Lubu.
Oh yeah. Or if there's just a way to do it. So I was thinking red hair. What if red hair is Exia? That's even worse. But like I mean, like the only way you poo and then you Exia Look, Diao Chan is already solitaire, right? You're building like this weird house with flowers. You got to now build a Lubu, and then you build up to the red hair.
Hey, Lord Master Mark.
Sir.
What is the significance of the number 32?
I don't know.
Do you know?
No.
It's a Lubu's life. I don't know.
It's some lore related thing.
It's probably sort of lore related thing. I don't know why 32. Why 32?
Chat, if you know the significance of 32, leave a comment.
Yeah.
I think it is cool though that we have a ally champion who is duo element.
It's our new Trisket. So your Guojia can go into Trisket, while my Diaochan can go into Lubu. Let's go.
Like, don't get me wrong. I think the ability is powerful.
Really
I think the front side of Lubu is already like dominating the board.
Yeah.
Like the turn it comes in, I don't know if you'll have enough to really pay for the attack twice thing.
Yeah.
You'll probably kill one thing, wake up, and has vigor. But then for the rest of the game, you're like, kill two of their things, wake up. Kill two of their things, wake up. It's like it's destroying the board. It's blocking them. It's a powerful ally. It's just that for level 3, you usually expect something that like instantly wins or something.
I can't believe it destroys all other objects you control. You just like reset the entire game.
So funny.
Well, I mean, it doesn't really matter too much for this card because this card has attack. It has infinite health. I mean, it's kind of, yeah.
32 health and 8 attack for a champion.
You could actually put Jin of Regalia in this deck too.
Yeah.
Think about
you
this.
You can play your strong G.
Yeah, your strong G. You can get a breastplate. You can go all Jin. So I was thinking about this a little bit, right? I was like, I wonder if there's like a weird fire Diaochan meta. Like a fire Diaochan that goes into Terra just to play Lubu, then that goes into Exia. I know it's like I'm really pushing this, but
see you at locals in a month.
Man. I don't know.
It's
with this.
We're gonna don't let your dream stay meme.
I'm waiting for the second card. Where's the card that says deal X damage? Like where I choose what number it is, right?
Yeah. Disclaimer as well, we're filming this about a week before the video actually gets uploaded. So during the spoiler season, you guys have seen way more cards from HVN that we haven't seen yet.
Everyone's like, Mark, it's like
I know
it's
it's solved already. It's here.
right here. This card.
Yeah, this card says transform Lubu.
Yeah. And also, and the other thing that I'm a little bit like, where's the reference to red hair?
Red hair?
I thought the two cards were like intertwined, right? It does now. It is really cool. This card does reference Diaochan, which is nice, but I want to see the little bit red. Maybe red hair will reference Lubu. Would be good. Yeah.
Surely.
Excited. Hey, look, I like it. Very powerful card, very flashy. Sildar said basically, yeah, it's really hard to do this, but if you do it, you're pretty much guaranteed to win the game. I trust. Sounds about right.
Any other cards of interest?
Yeah, I have one.
Okay.
Sword Saint Vow. Sword Saint's Vow.
I haven't seen that one either.
Yeah. So new sword for all the Lorraine lovers here.
Ooh, that's me.
Or warrior people, yeah. And it's Norm, so you can just play it in any deck.
Okay,
right?
okay.
Cost 1, Regalia weapon, warrior sword, class bonus. Sword Saint's Vow gets +1 attack for each durability counter on it. Class bonus. Whenever you activate a craft action card, put 2 durability counters on Sword Saint's Vow.
Craft action.
Craft action, yes. On hit, remove a durability counter from Sword Saint's Vow. It has 0 attack and 1 durability. So technically it's 1 attack, 1 durability. The downside is when you hit something, you're gonna remove 2 durability instead of 1. You lose 2.
Yeah, that's trash.
Seems.
All right.
This card's trash.
Let me show you how you play this
rough.
card.
It costs 1.
Let me show you
And
how
it
you
costs
play
1.
this.
It doesn't refund itself.
Okay, guys.
Okay, sell us the card, Mark.
You have to add durability to it, right? You gotta craft it. You craft
Oh
it.
boy.
It's all about crafting.
Refurbish. Oh boy.
Temper
Is refurbish a craft card?
Yes. I'll just talk about, I think the best one to use for this is probably going to be either Temper Steel or Home by Fire. And the reason is like this, right? Temper Steel, a lot of players already want to use it because if you temper, you get a floating memory, right? You want to just cast it. Normally you just chuck it in the graveyard, but with this card, Temper adds 3 durability counters to this thing. Because you craft it, it's 2.
Yeah.
You temper for 1 more, so 3. So this sword is a 4/4 basically, a 4 attack.
Interesting.
Yeah. If you Home by Fire this card, it's even more insane. A Home by Fire will basically add 1 durability, right? Because you're gonna get the class bonus as warrior. Add 2 more for the craft, so that's 4. But it also adds +2. So this sword is gonna hit for 6.
Okay. I'm kind of seeing it. I guess Lorraine Spirit Ruler could bring this in with 4 durability counters on it.
That could work, yeah. That's pretty late game though, but that could work, yeah. Home by Fire is great because you do it pre-rec. So you hone, pre-rec, hone, temper. This thing could be like 15 durability.
Oh, magical Christmas land.
Look,
yeah.
okay, I'm all about
You've just played like 6 cards.
and I won the game.
You better win after playing 6 cards. But
I swing with it and I disperse.
I mean, this is like the greatest glass cannon on earth.
Yes.
Like one Song of Frost, one Fracture Eyes, you're screwed.
It needs so much maintenance.
Yeah. True.
It's like you have to keep polishing the sword.
That's right. Gotta keep polishing. Yeah. Anyways, I like it. I think it's cool.
Interesting.
I think it may be stronger than most people think it is.
Okay.
All right.
Make it happen, Mark.
You guys
See
are
you
not
at
convinced.
locals in a month.
You're okay.
With the stuff.
Haters. All these haters. All right. Cool.
I'm gonna put this in your Lubu deck.
Yeah. With my strong G of Sacrifice. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. This is gonna be a very complicated deck. So that's going to be it for our discussion on HVN. There were a lot more cards, but honestly, like, I think it just so many to discuss. We probably spent the entire day here talking about it. I do want to transition us to our viewer question for today. If you have a question for TalkGA podcast, you can tweet at us at TalkGA_podcast. If you're on YouTube, you can comment on this video with hashtag TalkGA, followed by your question. And lastly, if you want to email us, you can also email us at talkgapodcast@gmail.com, and we will get to your question live on the show. Okay, so this week's question comes to us from our viewer from Southeast Asia. Gerald asks, "Hi, Mark, Eva, and Fome. Listen to your podcast, and I think it's great for new players. I've been introduced to the game by friends, but they've recently been discouraged by the heavy water meta that essentially doesn't allow them to play and potentially ends games in 2 to 4 turns. Not sure if you can share your thoughts on the water meta in Singapore/Malaysia, heavy water, Arsana, and Eco." I'll tell you this right now, the water meta is everywhere, not just in Southeast Asia, but yeah. Now, I do agree water is quite strong now, and it's very difficult for fire and wind to win. The best water deck wins in 3 turns using Ice Mount Slam, then negates, etc. My friend scoops when the water player has 20 plus card in hand.
Oh, wow.
Any advice or tips for players new to the scene? At the moment, we are struggling to understand how water decks can be fast, control, and deal massive damage in few turns compared to fire and wind. Regards.
Wow. Thank you for the very, very thoughtful email and question.
Yeah. Good question, actually, indeed. Yeah. Really well thought through. Who wants to go first?
Well, I think if we can kind of start with just talking about like the water meta and its like popularity before we get into kind of like breaking it down and what we can do about it or any advice or tips
like
that we have.
Answering the question, basically.
Yeah. Just to kind of like establish things. Because when I first read this question, I was really interested in seeing whether this sudden boom in popularity for water decks was a global thing, right? Because we've been seeing it a lot locally here in NorCal. We saw it at Ascent Utrecht, and we've heard about it in this email for Singapore and Malaysia. Basically, I looked at the numbers for all the regionals that's happened since Ascent Santa Clara, which I think is kind of the event where water had its first really big breakout performance, right? So looking at the most played element in these regionals, water actually came in second, with wind coming in first. There were 16 regionals where wind was the most played element and water was second and fire was third.
Interesting.
So, which I thought was really interesting because I kind of expected water to be the dominating, like the uncontested #1 most popular element since Ascent Santa Clara. But apparently, actually, wind has been pretty well played around the world. So I wonder if it's actually a region by region meta thing. I don't know. I personally find that kind of interesting. But then, of course, we look at Ascent Utrecht, which happened recently in the Netherlands. And 38% of all the players were on water. And then the conversion rate is crazy. 65% of the top 32 was water. So it converted extremely well. And especially, we have to look at the particular decks that people were playing. About half of the top 32 were playing the same water mill archetype.
So they're not playing Xiahou Dun, Cao Cao.
No, I mean there were a few water allies decks, but half of the top 32 playing water mill. So it's definitely not just popular, but performing really well in competitive events. But I also just think that it's interesting that despite fire and wind kind of dominating the meta for so long, like water has never broken 25% of like the played element in an event until like a month ago. It's actually quite a recent meta that's come up. But for some reason, this meta just feels kind of bad to play in. So I kind of wanted to ask you guys' thoughts about that. Like what I'm thinking is that maybe because Water struggled so much for the entire first year of Grand Archive, they maybe overcompensated, printed some overpowered Water cards to make up for it.
Yeah, I think that's what happened too.
Yeah, I think there's another point to this too, and I think this speaks to like why it feels bad to play against Water. Is I think the problem with Water is that it's a very oppressive color.
True.
So the problem is like, okay, like when Fire's meta, what happens? The game's end quicker, or like they do a crap ton of damage. Like you just felt like you got outraced. Like my deck wasn't as fast. Water is more like, I won, you lost. It's like a very obvious to you. For example, getting your creative shock like Cerulean Decreed feels really bad, right? Whereas getting a bunch of creative shocks in your face, you didn't have your own creative shock. Just feels like they're running faster than you. It doesn't feel the same way, right? I think that's part of the problem. And I would even say like my personal opinion is that I don't think Wind actually ever even got a dominance. I would say like Wind Allies had a little thing towards the end with Merlins. I would say like Wind Allies have always had a little bit of everything, every meta. And then realistically, it's just really Tristan and then Razor Gale, which was a mistake. Right. So I kind of discount that as Wind dominating the meta. I think Razor Gale was a mistake and we'll just not talk about that. But yeah, so like realistically it's just Fire, and Fire was just like, like they built their Solitaire faster than me. So it didn't feel as bad, I guess.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, because people really hate it when you're like telling them no all the time.
Yeah.
And also Water is a very, I would say, snowbally element, because your first Cerulean, you get off on them, they go down one, you go up one.
Yeah.
Which now because of that, it's easier to Cerulean them again and again, and every time you're accruing more and more advantage. Meanwhile, you're milling all of these floating memory with your Fractal of Rains and Icebound Slams. It just feels like you're going down on cards, and their hand is like infinite size. It feels like an infinite value, and I think that just like that uphill battle feels really terrible sometimes.
Yeah. For things like negating, they have like, was it now? Like I was counting earlier, I was like, okay, so 4 Decrees, 4 Frostbinds, 4 Tidal Locks, and now 4 Frozen Dismissals. Oh my goodness. And Frozen Dismissal is a very oppressive card, right? So like having the ability to have potentially like, 16 negates, it feels really bad to play against, right?
Yeah. Like I think Frostbind is kind of a somewhat fair negate card. Like you can play around it, you can hold up 2 extra cards so that you don't get Frostbound. Some of the other negates though just feels kind of unfair. Like Tidal Lock, when it costs 1, it's so cheap. Or like Frozen Dismissal, like you said.
One other thing I do want to bring up about the whole Water meta situation is that kind of similar to the Korhazi situation, the Slime situation, Fire Lorraine, Insole Lorraine, right? There's this idea of like perception versus reality. And I think you brought up the stats earlier, and I think that's really good, because it's like, is it oppressive like 99% of the decks are Water, or is it like, a good majority? And I would agree, like anything more than like a simple majority, whichever one was like, it could be less than 50, but it's still a dominant one, whatever that majority is, that could be a problem. However, why was Korhazi like dealt with a very swift ban, whereas like this situation with Water right now is kind of like, we'll put Icebound Slam in category 1 and wait and see, right?
Yeah, it doesn't feel consistent.
I think part of the thing is we've split up the Korhazi problem into like many cards. So what's worse, one card that a deck can have 4 copies of, so they have to get into it, or like 16 copies of cards that like negate, and they're kind of semi-negate. So they're like more spread out. You're more likely to have at least one of them, but they're not as powerful as a Korhazi. So like it's hard to kind of gauge what is worse in this situation, right?
Yeah, it's like you almost have to like ban like 4 cards at the same time or something, which would be crazy.
Which you can do, because then the whole Water identity of like negating is gone. So you can't really do that either. And I think, maybe Water right now is just the new Slime. Remember, like even 6 months ago, you don't have to think that far. 3 months ago, Slime was so dominant. People were like, we can't play anything to Slime. And then somebody figured out Water Arsana works really well against Slime, right? And then, I think we're currently in that situation where Water is the new Slime, right? Yeah. And it could have an answer. It could not have an answer. We kind of just don't know. But my guess is, given the card pool, given what we've seen before, there could be an answer. So I think the best example of this was actually Water Lorraine. For those the old farts of Grand Archive, you guys remember like there was a moment when I think towards the end of the Dawn of Ash season, there was a deck that came out of nowhere. Right? It was basically, okay, Fire and Soul Lorraine versus Rye, right? And it was like, oh, Water Lorraine. Like, in fact, in the SoCal regionals, the first regional, I think, like a bunch of Water Lorraine made like top 8. And it's a deck that people didn't expect. They didn't see it. Were there other meta that could have developed? But we literally went into FTC that weekend. Right?
Yep.
There was no more. It wasn't just pure DOA anymore. Could we be in that situation right now where there is a deck against water, but we haven't explored it, we haven't found it yet? And I'll tell you right now, I've seen some people trying different things, even this past weekend.
Yeah, I totally agree with you that the meta is actually evolving, and you never know what actually it would have become if the next set doesn't come out.
Yes,
because people do figure out tech, but a lot of it is, I think, for better or for worse, people kind of like follow the trend.
Yeah.
Because, the best players are doing it, we should all just build that too.
Yeah.
But then, folks on another part of the world figure out something to like beat that, and then everybody goes to that instead.
Yeah.
Let's not beat around the bush. Water is really strong right now.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that it's not beatable. There's some tricks out there.
Yeah. Like you've been spending a lot of your time having fun brewing some tech to go against the water.
Yeah,
right?
I don't know if it's like it's definitely an uphill battle, and I'm not having too much success with it, and I by far from a skilled player, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think there are some really interesting tech cards even in Fire to beat water, because I'm trying to play Fire now because Fire seems like the underdog color, the underdog element. And
loyalty.
when you play Fire against water, it's like the hardest matchup, because it's like I resolve Frostborn Paladin, I'm like, oh, I lose. So I was like, okay, how do I deal with Frostborn Paladin? So I just spent the whole time like rejiggering the deck to deal with Frostborn Paladin. And so there's some interesting things you find out, like, oh, did you know Abyssal Visage basically inactivates a Frostborn Paladin and they can't intercept you anymore?
Fun.
Abyssal Visage is a tamer accessory. It has ally link, and then the linked ally gets +2 attacked, becomes a beast with Pride 3. So you look at it and it almost feels like this is a buff, but it's actually a debuff, because you're making their scam deck that never goes above level 1 or level 2. Now their Frostborn Paladin can't activate its activated abilities because they don't meet the Pride requirement. They're not level 3. And Intercept is a activated ability. So they can't block you anymore. They can't attack you anymore. And they can still play around it. They can fracturize your Abyssal Visage, but it's a thing. You have agency.
You have agency. That's right.
And then I got sick and tired of Arasana using Polaris and board wiping me. So I run 4 Blanches in main now. And so I'm like, oh, you're try to blow up my board. And then another good tech is Blazing Bowman. On enter, eat a fire. It gets +2, making it a 4/1. Its attacks can't be retaliated against. So Blazing Bowman, swinging at Frostborn Paladin. They can't kill my Blazing Bowman, but I can kill their Frostborn uncontested.
It's pretty funny.
Thunderclap is another one too. It does 4 damage.
It costs a little bit more, but I like Blazing Bowman because it kills it and leaves you with an ally on board that they have to then take care of. So there's like lots of little things I feel like you can do. Of course, in aggregate, water is still gonna give you a hard time. But I think there's more to come.
Okay. Yes.
Especially with HVN.
Yeah. And actually, I want to go back to one of the points you mentioned earlier about what happens if the next set never comes out, right? So the example I'll give is like a game called StarCraft 1, actually. This game has not been updated for 20 years now. This game meta shifts today still.
Wow.
It's crazy,
right? So you think the game that's been out for so long, so many pro players have been playing, the meta's solved. No, it shifts still today. Depending on what your opponents do, you have to change how you play your game. I think it's very similar. For example, we talk about Lantern being main deck when Fire was really main, right? Now I see Viridian Trinket main deck all the time because water's main. So
Nullifying Lantern is still a main for a lot of people
for
the water as well.
Yeah. But you can make adjustments for these decks part of this is also just like, again, it's looking beyond like what your deck does and saying, how can I counteract my opponent's deck?
Hang in there. We're gonna get through this water meta together.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff that's still unexplored, and you know, sometimes the other way to think about it is like what is currently not in meta sometimes frees up a deck that was being oppressed by that deck being the meta. So because we shifted over to water, Slime's no longer dominating. What deck was Slime's dominating over that now is free? Maybe that deck can now be the paper to the rock or whatever.
Yep, absolutely.
One way to think about it. Yeah.
Yep.
I think that's it for our show for this week.
Yeah, it went long.
Yeah, thank you guys for watching and staying, tuned with us. Thank you so much. And this is the TalkGA crew signing out. Stay classy.
Stay classy.
Okay, I have to review in what order I reveal stuff.
What do you mean? You're like more than one card or something? Cheater?
No. I made a slideshow where I hide.
You have a
all the
slideshow?
info. Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's that good. You'll see why. You'll see why.
You're trying to like
What's going on?
A+
No,
student
it's
over
okay.
here,
It's
S
okay.
tier, trying to get an S.
All right,
Eva, there's no
PowerPoint.
S grade on your report card. Just A is the top score you can
it's,
get.
it's hype as fuck, okay?
Okay,
Calm
wow.
down.